Thousands of Argentinians marching on the streets of Buenos Aires. They are all demanding justice for three young women. 15-year-old Lara Gutierrez, 20-year-old Brenda del Castillo, and 20-year-old Morena Verdi. Lara, Brenda, and Morena were brutally tortured and killed. Their killers were so cold-blooded that they live-streamed their brutal torture and murders on Instagram to a private audience of around 45 people. Argentine media are reporting that the torturers cut off fingers, pulled out nails, beat and suffocated the victims. While Brenda and Morena were cousins, Lara was a friend of the two cousins. Their killings have deeply shocked Argentina. Family members of the three murdered girls are struck with disbelief and desperately searching for answers.
The only thing I ask is that you help us investigate this to the end, because all I want now is justice. It's unfair to lay to rest two 20-year-old girls. It's unfair to see what they went through. It wasn't their fault.
Muchos vienen y piden justicia. No, yo pido verdad.
Many people demand justice. I don't. I demand truth, as truth is worth more than justice. Justice sometimes decide on one side or the other, but we are here for the truth, to know who was responsible for the crime. I did not see what they did. I saw it in a video when I was in Mexico, but still, we are here. Until we get the truth, we will not stop. The family is strong.
We are here to demand justice for the girls because what happened is terrible. No one has the right to kill anyone. We want this band of miserable people who did this to the girls to be brought to justice. We want justice and swift action to arrest all those responsible. Please, as a country, join us. What happened is terrible, and it happened to all of us, not only our family. It happened to us as a society, as mothers, daughters, and sisters. Please, please join us.
Here's what's known about this horrific triple murder so far. Brenda, Morena, and Lara were last seen alive at 9:30 p.m. on September 19th. Officials say the victims were lured into a van under the pretense of attending a party or an event, but were actually taken to a house in Florencio Varela, a suburb of Buenos Aires, where they were brutally tortured and murdered that night. Their bodies were found buried in the yard of the same house 5 days after they went missing. The dismembered bodies showed signs of torture. Officials announced on Wednesday that 4 people had been arrested on aggravated homicide charges. On Friday night, National Security Minister Patricia Bullrich said a 5th suspect, accused of providing logistical support with a car, was arrested in the Bolivian border city of Velazon. But the plot's alleged mastermind, who is believed to have orchestrated the killings, is still on the run. He is the suspected gang boss, a 20-year-old Peruvian nicknamed Julito or Little J. Authorities have circulated images of the fugitive leader and issued an arrest warrant against him. So why were the girls targeted? The 3 young women were allegedly killed in a revenge attack by a drug trafficking gang. The head of the criminal organization could be heard saying this in the live-streamed video. This is what happens to anyone who steals drugs from me. So the drug traffickers accused the victims of stealing cocaine and designed the brutal killings to send a public message about the consequences of defying the cartel's rules. One victim was reportedly buried in the patio of the house. The site was discovered after tracking the victims' mobile phone signals. The vehicle the 3 victims were last seen in was found burned out near the house. Police also found bloodstains nearby. It suspects the property was cleaned with bleach in what was an attempt to erase evidence at the crime scene. According to authorities, the women had previously been in contact with the members of the drug trafficking organization. The Buenos Aires provincial government classified the murders as femicide. It put out this statement: femicides are the most extreme expressions of gender-based violence, and in the context of narco-criminality, they represent a stark and brutal display of dehumanization, cruelty, and disposability. So the killings are being seen as a form of narco-femicide. It's a violent expression of gender-based violence linked to drug crime and cartel intimidation. The drug gang behind the murders of the 3 Argentinian girls is believed to be part of an international narco-trafficking network. As per investigators, it is a transnational drug cartel that uses Argentina as a transit hub for moving narcotics and uses locations near Buenos Aires as operational sites. Remember, Argentina serves as a strategic transit hub for drug cartels moving cocaine and other narcotics from Bolivia, Peru, and Paraguay through Rosario, which is Argentina's major port city, and a drug trafficking epicenter to international markets, including Europe. The triple murders highlight the growing influence of drug gangs in the region and the use of social media for terror and control. And what are the protesters asking for? They are demanding significant legal and social reforms in Argentina that can combat gender-based violence, drug gang impunity, and systemic failures. Remember, shortly after assuming office on 10th December 2024, Argentinian President Javier Milei had promised to treat drug cartel members as terrorists. And in August 2025, his government formally designated Cartel of the Suns, a Venezuelan-linked drug cartel, as a terrorist and narco-criminal organization. This aligned Argentina with international and US actions against drug trafficking organizations. But the latest incident shows that much more needs to be done. In fact, President Milei's administration faces strong criticism from protesters and media figures for rolling back legal protections and institutional resources dedicated to combating gender-based violence and femicide. Critics say this has weakened the institutional and legal framework for fighting gender-based violence in Argentina. So let's see the big picture here. The big picture points to the pervasive influence of drug cartels in Argentina. These cartels operate as parallel power structures. They enforce violent social control, especially over women in communities they dominate. The big fish behind this atrocity are the drug cartel leaders and organized crime syndicates that control drug trafficking routes and territories in Argentina and the broader region. These criminal organizations maintain their power through violence and fear. Some state institutions in Argentina either collude with these gangs or are ineffective against them. Corruption, impunity, and social inequalities allow such drug cartels to thrive and enforce their brutal codes of conduct outside the law. So while this is a story of an outcry for justice, this is also a story of how state authorities are either hand in glove with or are challenged by criminal networks that act as law unto themselves and normalize impunity and terror against vulnerable communities, particularly women. Surely, at the very least, there is a need to protect those vulnerable from such abuse and ensure accountability. As the world watches closely, the question remains: will there be healing, closure, and change? That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.